AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, the home of the Spurs, live on 2K Sports. It's out on the road tomorrow as the Spurs wrap up this home stretch. Looking at the first half of the season, it's been one they've been very proud of. They have a lot of confidence so far.
Well, if it's about this dynamic streak has captured this community's imagination. The level of enthusiasm, absolutely off the charts.
Yeah, it's definitely a great atmosphere to be part of. The fans have had a lot to cheer for lately, and it's like they get more and more excited with each win.
Now let's take a look at the Nuggets opening lineup. At small forward and power forward, Gallinari and Faried. Lawson out there with Iguodala, and it's Kufos in at the 5 spot. And for San Antonio, Green and Leonard out on the perimeter. Splitter is up there with Duncan, and it's Parker in at the point. Iguodala, the pass to Lawson. Dives for it, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it.
Well, this is the first full season of the post-Carmelo era in Denver, and it looks to me like the Nuggets are going to be just fine. They've got a collection of talent, maybe not superstar talent, but a lot of very, very good players.
Iguodala gets the bucket.
Looked like the defense kind of backed off him, and he took advantage.
Right now, let's find out what head coach George Karl had to say to our Doris. Doris?
Yes, Kevin, and he didn't outright say that he didn't worry about defense here, but it was all about offense for them this game. He said numbers 1, 2, and 3 on our list are getting good looks, good movement, and hitting shots. That's all there is to it. Let's see if their approach works.
Thanks a lot, Doris. As we might have guessed, their offensive strategy playing heavily into their approach here, guys.
Well, that's kind of their identity. I would think it was going to be their night, as well as everybody on the team was shooting the ball.
No question about it, Steve. I mean, you're not going to lose too many games where you have multiple players getting locked in like they were. That's too early foul. I mean, we'll see how much leeway he gets the rest of the quarter from the coach. I don't think he necessarily has to sit with 2, but he's got to be careful.
Gary Neal's checked in for the Spurs.
And for a point guard, you love LUV, that finish. Wow.
Yeah, he's really been able to get off his feet and stop. Something to watch.
Incredible athleticism, both laterally and vertically.
Lawson outside. High, arcing shot. Kicks it out to Iguodala. Over Green. Lawson right side. Gallinari. Iguodala outside. Lawson right side. Goes up with it again. Goes up again.
I think he's capable of shooting the ball much better than he has so far. I don't think there's any doubt about that, guys.
And Green gets it to go.
You know, what I love about George Karl is that he always seems to make sense out of chaos. You know, anywhere he's been where there's been some unrest with the players, where there's been conflicting personalities, it hasn't seemed to matter. He's made it work, and he's turned every team into a winner.
And Steve, we talked about Coach Karl's ability to overcome locker room turmoil. What do you think his secret is?
Well, he's just honest. You know, he's usually honest. And I think players like that. They don't want to see a politician. They don't want somebody who's going to, you know, just try to figure out how to do things. They just want to see somebody who's going to be honest with them and not play favorites and just, you know, tell the team like it is. And I think that's worked for George Karl over the years.
Into Tim Duncan. Stolen by McGee. And there's the feed to Gallinari. The shot's good on the assist by Iguodala. Gallinari's got his first 2 points of the night. Leonard with the ball. Now Chandler defending. Hit his foot. And it's whistled a kick. A different look now for San Antonio. Now Bonner comes in for Tim Duncan. And Steven Jackson subbed in for Kawhi Leonard. Denver also making some changes. Kenneth Faried comes in for Gallinari. And Corey Brewer's subbed in for Andre Iguodala. And Brewer kicks to McGee. And Boris Diaw picks up the foul. That's his first foul. 2:03 left in the first quarter. Takes a shot at the elbow. And again, it's Wilson Chandler.
Sometimes folks forget about his decent mid-range jumper. He can knock those down all game in the chain.
Here's Parker, and that one's good. Parker's got his first bucket in this one.
And when you play against him, guys, you know that it's going to be very tough to deny him if he gets in close. So you've got to body him. You can't let him get positioned down by the hoop. Otherwise, he'll just torture you down there.
Another one of his great qualities is his clutch play at winning time. And he loves those big moments and always seems to come through for him.
Kawhi Leonard's checked in for the Spurs. Green comes in for Manu Ginobili. And Denver also making a switch. Lawson's checked in. And the basket by Diop. The Nuggets leading by 4. Lawson with it. He's picked up by Parker. The shot's good from Lawson.
Hasn't been the hot start he's wanted here. I mean, he's got a few to fall, but doesn't seem on target most of the time he fires.
He dishes it to Leonard. Over Brewer. Another one falls for San Antonio.
Right out of the gate, just filling it up.
Both teams are, guys. I mean, points coming fast and furious.
Leonard, no.
I don't mind that shot, though. He's an excellent three-point shooter. He's just showing a lot of confidence there.
I'm right with you there, Steve. I mean, let it flow when you're feeling it.
Now, part of the reason they are where they are is that they have taken care of the ball for the most part.
17 seconds left to play in the first. Parker dishes to Splitter. No good. Nice D from Chandler.
Well defended, and he's not someone who responds well to that kind of defensive pressure.
The Nuggets have gone 3 of 4 at the free throw line tonight.
And guys, that allows their opponents to play very aggressive defense if they choose to, knowing it's not a bad thing to send them to the foul line. You know, for a big man, he really stripes those free throws.
Out of bounds. Denver takes possession.
Gary Neal.
Timeout is called. First of the game for the Nuggets. Last time they met was in Denver. Here's Lawson. Good!
That's exactly how you want to close out the quarter, with a basket.
And guys, he got
The basket's coming early and often in the first quarter. Nuggets lead by 8. And don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. What do you guys think about the Nuggets out here in this one?
And they've done a nice job here offensively to establish a rhythm and a pace to this game.
And I like that they're finding ways to score. Playing well here, Steve.
So with Iguodala sitting on the bench, here's the group that George Karl has on the floor. They've got JaVale McGee. Gallinari is out there with Wilson Chandler. Then it's Lawson. And it's Miller in at the 2. He feeds it to Chandler. The dish to Gallinari. Lets it go with a 3. They grab their own miss. Over Duncan. And another miss by Denver.
You can see how much the defense respects him. I mean, they were all over him on that look.
Took him no time at all on that one. Diaw's got 6.
And Spurs coach Greg Popovich, no question, one of the great coaches of all time, and a really interesting guy. I love the way he handles the media. He can be funny at one moment, surly the next. He keeps reporters on their toes. Got a very sarcastic side to him.
You know, Kevin, they were a step late on their defensive rotation, and that helped them get right to the rim.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. And when you talk about the yin and the yang of Greg Popovich, you know, you have to say, Steve, he's done a great job over the years of being demanding, get what he, needs out of the players he's coaching without causing much backlash. You know, the locker basically polices itself. He'll get hard, even on the Tim Duncans of the world. He'll get very hard on him in coaching.
Yeah, he gets on all of his guys, and I think that's the secret for Popovich. having Tim Duncan and David Robinson over the years as the foundation of that organization, those guys are high-quality players and high-character people. So to be able to build around them and to coach them allows Popovich to coach everybody else as well. Well, until recently, he was one of the top big men in Europe. Now in the NBA, he's showing what he's got at both ends of the floor. An active big man, he can run the floor, he can rebound, block shots, and score a little bit as well.
Yeah, a mobile 7-footer with a good basketball IQ. He's a factor on the offensive board, boosting that box score with those second chance points. And Green gets it to go.
Points in the paint have been the main course, or main entree, if you will. They just keep pounding it inside.
Well, they're seeing no resistance defensively in the paint area, so the defense has got to be tougher. For such a long time, the Spurs were looked to as an annual threat to win it all, especially with Tim Duncan in his prime. But the last few years, people haven't taken San Antonio seriously, but they still win consistently, night in and night out.
Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Matt Bonner.
And one of the keys for this team is securing defensive rebounds. Keep them off the offensive glass.
Well, that's the period for the sentence of your defense, rebounding the ball.
Spurs trailed by 5. Thinking about the Spurs, a lot of it just seems to be habit for them. Winning has certainly become a habit down in Texas.
Yeah, they have the players. Oh, my goodness. What a huge play. Did you see that?
Oh, we got to see that one again, guys. We've got to see that again.
I need a replay. I'm not sure what I just looked at.
Denver calls timeout. Coming into this, having notched a win against the Rockets in their last game.
And they won that game, guys, in large part because of the defense played by their bigs. They turned away more than their share of shots.
And I thought it got into the other guys' heads as the game went on. I mean, they weren't taking it to the basket nearly as aggressively.
Second and 2.
San Antonio on defense, trailing by 5. And it's Iguodala missing. Spurs have gone 4 of 8 so far here in the second quarter.
Well, one thing you love about Andre Iguodala is his durability. He's missed fewer than 30 games in his entire 8-year career. One of those guys who takes great care of himself in the offseason, works hard, watches his diet. I think that's been a big factor.
Here's Leonard, and some very quick points for him on that possession. Leonard's got 6. Here's Lawson. The shot's good on the assist by Iguodala. And the Nuggets lead by 5.
Next time he has that much space, he should just go straight up with it and leave the fadeaway at home. But fadeaway, take the shot that's available.
And Iguodala, you spoke about his attention to diet and training already. A tremendous athlete, just natural.
Yeah, but he's taking it to another level. And that's what the great ones do. They find ways to continue to get better no matter where they are currently. And last season, he dug into those salads, cut down or cut out candy bread and red meat. And a terrific athlete became better. This is not the slam dunk contest. You don't get do-over. You got to finish the job.
And the shot is good. And it's 8 points for Duncan.
Soft defense right there. Way too soft.
It's Iguodala with the drive. Deflected. It's stolen by Duncan. Green with the ball. And it's Iguodala picking him up. Great positioning on the putback. Leonard's got 6 points in the quarters.
You got to love his position near the hoop, anticipating the play and getting the putback.
They double team Iguodala. Tipped. The shot's good from Lawson. Lawson's got 15 points.
They don't seem to have many answers for him in this game. He's doing a terrific job out there. Outstanding work.
Here's Duncan, and it's rejected.
And a 2-for-1 opportunity.
Yeah, they've got to hurry. Step on the gas here.
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Here's Splitter. Brewer grabs the board. Brewer's got 3 rebounds now in this one. And the foul called on Daniel Green. That is his first foul of the game. Chandler kicks to Lawson. Pass to Miller. Inside. Ball's knocked loose. 2 on the clock. Shot no good.
That's that's a look that he'll never pass up. It's the one he'll usually never miss.
Time called here. The Nuggets decide to talk it over.
It was a good time to call the timeout to try to settle everybody down and get back into their offensive rhythm. They've been coughing up the rock an awful lot.
Close game as we wrap up the second quarter.
Your Spurs, 31. The Nuggets,
Second half about to close.
It's been a nice game for Ty Lawson. 15 points, and he's ventured beyond the arc for a three-pointer today, too.
And that's another thing he's proven he has the ability to do. They wouldn't mind seeing a few more of those three balls drop for him.
So with Ginobili sitting on the bench, here's how the floor looks for Greg Popovich. Tony Parker at the 1 and Danny Green at the 2. Splitter is out there with Kawhi Leonard. And it's Duncan in at the center position. Green. And they're unable to get the time basket there. And the whistle blows. It'll be on Thiago Splitter. And that'll be his third foul so far.
Well, you know, the Spurs have been thinking about what's beyond the Tim Duncan era in the future. But Duncan keeps on ticking. I mean, he just keeps playing at a very high level. And as long as he does that, San Antonio will be tough to beat.
And now in transition, here we go. Iguodala. The quick look, no good that time. Deflects the pass. Spurs trail by 5. Green, the pass to Parker. He passes it to Splitter. Gallinari with the steal. To the paint. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. Now let's jump over to the 2K leaderboard to get an idea of which big men have been this season's most elite low-post scoring threats. 5th is Tim Duncan.
You know, that's as scary a collection of big men as you'd want to see. Game planning for any of them is a challenge because you know how much defensive attention you're going to have to devote to them.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to pick your poison. Either you leave other areas of the floor open and put some extra bodies down low, or you risk one of these guys running wild on you.
Three-pointer, Lawson. Good. Lawson's got 18 points in the game. And going back to Tim Duncan in San Antonio, Clark, even if he isn't putting up great numbers, he really does seem to drive the team just through his power and his will.
Well, there's something about presence, and that's really what a superstar player like Duncan can do for you, Kevin. Even if he plays into his 40s, I just can't imagine the Spurs not being competitive with him on their roster.
I agree. They'll get another chance. And Duncan gets it to go in.
He made that offensive rebound count. Nice job collecting this second chance point.
Denver calls timeout.
Well, this team in Denver is really built around the Hall that they got for Carmelo Anthony in their trade with New York. Good group of players, a lot of young talent. They can build around these guys for a long time.
And they have to continue to tweak and build after that Carmelo trade, but really they got the building blocks there, Clark. You and Steve have been talking about.
Well, the trade of Carmelo Anthony was a big move, but what often gets overshadowed in that is that leaving Denver allowed Ty Lawson to step up and really blossom into the star that he's becoming. And you add Danilo, Gallinari, and other pieces, and you can see why they've transitioned so well.
The Spurs have gone 1 for 2 on the night so far from the line.
Well, you look at the numbers, 79% as a team on the season. That's very impressive.
And comparing to the numbers of last season, they've made a bit of improvement. So that's some positive momentum they can look to build on.
And Duncan drops them both. You know, sometimes teams don't age gracefully. And when your stars start to age, all of a sudden the team goes south. But the Spurs have managed to maintain a very high level of play, even with Ginobili and Duncan getting older.
Out of bounds. Denver takes possession.
Let's take a moment now, Kevin, to see how the Spurs are doing in the NBA statisticals currently. First in assists, second in field goal percentage, and they're ranked third overall in team offense. This is a team that knows how to put the ball in the basket, and really that's their strong suit.
Yeah, and the one thing that really jumps out at me when you talk about all these stats, Clark, is the assists. This is a team that has been very unselfish. They're sharing the ball, they're moving, they're really getting a good flow to their offense, and as a result, they're finding pretty high percentage shots almost every possession.
The shot's good from Faried.
Well, when he came out of college, the one thing you knew with Kenneth Faried was he was going to give you a lot of hustle. Great rebounder at Morehead State, and he brought that into the league with him. He attacks the ball, he attacks the glass, plays hard on every possession.
That's just the kind of player he is. It's in his nature. He can't help but hustle after missed shots, and he's willing to battle for rebounds and loose balls with anybody. There's no backing down with Faried. Time called here. The Nuggets decide to talk it over. The Spurs have gotten older, as you've said, Steve, but they've made the most of it. And I think, Clark, that adds to just how smart they are. They're high basketball IQ.
Without question, Kevin. And the big thing you see with them getting older is that the top guys get rested more. They're not playing as many minutes. And that you saw quite a bit of that towards the end of last year.
And the Nuggets with some changes. Molinari, he's checked in for Chandler. Iguodala comes in for Kenneth Faried. And it's Lawson in for Andre Miller. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now.
Defensive foul.
Denver right now is a collection of very good players, but they don't have a star anymore now that Carmelo is gone. You always wonder how a team is going to fare, particularly in the playoffs, when they don't have one guy who they can go to for a basket or a trip to the free throw line.
Well, as good as Denver might be, as you were saying, Steve, you do need to have that go-to player to get, some good points in crunch time. Clark, you've already alluded to that.
And really, Kevin, if you look around the league, that's what separates good teams from great teams. Having that one superstar that you can lean on when everything else is on the line. The one player that can go get you baskets when you need it.
A second chance effort. The shot's good from McGee.
And we see him get so many points that way because the effort is there constantly on the offensive glass.
Diaw can't hit.
And they're struggling a little bit on the glass. They've got to pick up their physical play in the paint.
Oh, how about that basketball, fan?
Beautiful.
Wow. Tearing that roof down with that one.
Yeah, and really a dunk contest dunk that time. Wow.
Yeah, unreal. What a dunk. And Ty Lawson, another product of the basketball hotbed, Prince George's County, Maryland. The roll call of NBA players from that area, pretty impressive. Kevin Durant, Michael Beasley, Roy Hibbert, Delonte West, Jeff Green, just to name a few.
A different look now for San Antonio. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Matt Bonner. Splitter comes in for Boris Diaw. And Kawhi Leonard subbed in for Steven Jackson. Spurs trail by 12. And Lawson, it seemed, from high school to college in North Carolina, he's always played with a lot of other talented players, Clark.
And even with the Nuggets, Kevin, when you think of their... I can't imagine that we'll see one better than that tonight.
I'm with you on that, aren't you, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I'd be shocked if we saw something more entertaining than that one.
And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
Now let's take a look now at some of the numbers for Tim Duncan. Third in blocks. And, of course, he's in the top 15 in rebounding, so a very strong presence in the paint.
And you addressed this spot as one of the leaders in average blocks per game, Steve. And I tell you what, that makes a huge difference on the team's defense. When you've got a shot blocker in there, it can change things for you.
And the Spurs making a change here. Green's checked in. .109 left in the third quarter. Duncan outside. And the pass to Green. Over Iguodala. And Green gets it to go. Green's got 6.
Well, they've done a lot of their damage from mid-range here, guys. I mean, knocking down those shots with regularity.
Yeah, how about 8 of their last 10 points, guys, coming off that mid-range area jump shot. So shows you don't have to be at the rim to score.
Well executed possession. They controlled the shot. Nicely done.
That's good.
3 straight buckets in the paint. They're making it look effortless.
Well, speaking of effortless, you'd like to see a little more out of the defense. How about trying, guys?
Knocked loose. Off the inbound. And there's another one for the Nuggets.
Now, the offensive efficiency has been really important. I think that's been the difference.
Well, you know, I think it's pretty simplistic, but it does oftentimes come down to this, making shots. And that's what they've done.
Boris Diaw.
Boris Diaw checked in for the Spurs. There's 45 seconds left to play here in the third. Iguodala, that's good.
He's starting to feel it. He's in a groove here in the second half.
All right, man. One more time. Keep it going. You're silver dancing.
43 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's Diaw. Shot to stop the run. Denver grabs the miss. Fareed's got his third rebound tonight.
This is a nice lead they've built. Very good job controlling the glass this game.
You've got to be pleased as a coach to see how your team has boxed out. Very fundamentally sound basketball.
Green, no luck.
A very rough quarter for him as not much is falling right now.
And the dunk by Fareed.
Well, that certainly sent a ripple through the crowd.
And alley-oop always does that. One of the most beautiful plays you'll see in all of basketball.
Yeah,
it's impossible not to be impressed.
Yep, very exciting play to see that.
Especially when it ends with that big slam like that one.
8 seconds left in the third. Lobs the alley-oop pass. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
Just got a little careless on that pass. They should be able to connect on those.
Here's Parker. No luck. 3 quarters of play all in the books. And this one all but over already.
43.
Nuggets ahead.
64.
We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge. Tomorrow comes the break for warfare.
The Nuggets leading by 21. A moment now to reset the lineups. Brought to us by Gatorade. All fueled up here for the fourth quarter. So out there for the Nuggets right now, they've got Kenneth Faried. Corey Brewer is out there with Andre Miller. Then it's Wilson Chandler. And it's Kufos in at center. Andre Iguodala. He's checked in for Corey Brewer. Spurs on defense. Iguodala, that's good.
What a half they're having from beyond the arc. It's getting ridiculous.
And there's no reason they shouldn't keep attacking from out there. I mean, they've got it going on in a big way now.
Goes up from the top of the key. And Duncan with the basket on the assist by Jackson. And that's 18 points for Duncan. And Miller with the basket on the assist by Iguodala.
Another inside bucket. They've had a huge edge in points in the lane.
That's what every coach preaches, inside out, reversible clothing.
Stolen by Jackson. Here's Splitter. Oh, the one-hand jam.
Not much resistance on that jam.
Yeah, defensively, you're right. Not a great sequence.
Well, they lost track of him, and they paid the price.
Iguodala gets the bucket.
You know, it's really the kind of game you expect from him, guys. I mean, extremely efficient, taking a lot of good shots.
And out of bounds as the Nuggets gain possession. And some changes here for the Spurs. Boris Diaz checked in for Duncan. Kawhi Leonard comes in for Steven Jackson. And it's Green in for Manu Ginobili. Denver also making some changes. JaVale McGee's checked in for Kupas. Alinari comes in for Wilson Chandler. And it's Lawson in for Andre Miller.
Out of bounds.
And that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession. Both teams will make substitutions. We're just over a minute and a half now into the fourth. Here's Leonard. Hamilton pulls it in.
And this is why they have the big lead, the rebounding.
Oh!
Are you kidding me? That was a power punch right there.
Great.
Nasty, nasty. Whoa.
And that look right there on Clark says it all.
He's not alone, Kevin. Hey, that was just mean right there.
Leonard kicks to Bonner. Over Miller. Bonner no good. The Nuggets have gone 5 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth. Strong work at that end of the floor.
They're really playing well at both ends, offensively and defensively, guys.
Yeah, it's been a complete performance, Steve. You look back on this game, it's one that you would hope to be able to build on.
And the Spurs making a change here. Ginobili's checked in. Denver also making some changes. Kufis checked in for Mozgov. And Wilson Chandler's subbed in for Jordan Hamilton. Iguodala left side. Over Blair. Iguodala. No good.
You know, that's a problem he has. I mean, not being able to knock down that open jumper. I think it happens far too often.
They need this. Kept alive. DeColo hits the bucket.
Good work turning that into an easy 2-point. He can attack the rim as well as anybody.
And the foul called on DeJuan Blair. That's his first foul.
First team foul.
This is a very interesting area, the topic of sleep science. And we've talked about it before, and as the studies continue, the results just get more and more compelling. Researchers now say that athletes should get 9 to 10 hours of sleep a day. They say it improves reaction time, cognitive function, and releases natural growth hormones to improve recovery. So sleep in, young fellas, sleep in.
The Spurs have gone 3 of 7 from the floor in the fourth. That's a 42% mark in the quarter. Neal's shot is off. Nuggets have gotten into a pretty good groove, going 6 of 10 here in the final quarter. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. You talk about the need for good sleep. A study showed that Stanford players who got adequate sleep shot 9 percentage points better from three-point range and from the free throw line. Steve, Clark, I'm looking at you guys. You could have had monster numbers.
Hey, I tried to tell my wife all those years when we were raising young kids, honey, I need 9 to 10 hours of sleep tonight. You've got to be the one to get up and feed them.
Iguodala kicks to Chandler. It's tipped. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. Diaz checked in for DeJuan Blair. And Denver with a change here too. Corey Brewer is checked in for Andre Iguodala. Spurs shooting 38% from the field. A pretty weak showing for them. DeColo. Again, the miss by the Spurs.
Well, they've built a big lead here so far, and a lot of it has to do with how well they've been rebounding.
Yeah, every time they make a stop, they're securing the rebound. And that's really allowed them to get out to this lead.
The Nuggets making a switch here. Lawson's checked in. .132 left in the fourth quarter. And that is good. Lawson's got 23 points. Gathers. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two.
Steven Jackson.
Well, an ugly season for Steven Jackson last year. Unhappy that he didn't get a contract extension. Made that known both in Charlotte and Milwaukee. Did not play well. Ultimately traded to the Warriors and then the Spurs, and ended up back in the place where he won an NBA championship in 2003.
And for Jackson, a season that had started out finished on a high note, contributing to a very good playoff team in the Spurs.
Yeah, well, he's a guy who can defend multiple positions. He understands the culture of the Spurs. He and Tim Duncan, surprisingly, are pretty close friends. And he's a guy that gives you a lot of different elements when you're talking about versatility.
Defensive foul.
Well, they're not going to get back into this game when they commit frustration fouls like that one.
How about exasperation fouls? I mean, that's what it looked like to me. It's an indication of the kind of game they've been having.
You know, with the altitude in Denver, a lot of Nuggets teams over the years have been built with speed in mind. And it makes sense because you come in as an opponent and you have to play against a team that gets up and down the floor. That's not easy.
At the line for two.
And he makes the first. Well, Stevie talked about the altitude. For anyone that hasn't been to Denver, watching the broadcast, you definitely feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it. And you look at how the Nuggets have fared at home over the years. They always play well at home. They've had good teams, but the altitude is a part of that as well.
Can't allow that to happen, guys. Just a defensive breakdown there on the boards.
Lawson drives it.
Wow.
Look at that athletic play. Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a done deal here. They've pretty much finished this team off.
Yep, we can put this one in the books. Too much to overcome now.
Steven Jackson.
The Nuggets shooting around 60% on the night. Amazing work offensively so far. And there's the call on Jackson. That will get him his fourth foul of the game, and due to the bonus, he'll head to the line for two. First one falls for him. And so he's able to get one of two. Here's Diaw. The full court prayer falls off target. Lawson drives in. Rebound San Antonio.
That's terrific defense right there to prevent from converting in close.
And out of bounds as the Nuggets gain possession. Mozgov, he's checked in for the Nuggets. Denver's gone 2 of 3 in the fourth quarter from long range. Good shooting so far. Dishes to Brewer. Elbow shot is on the way. They get it back. Lawson kicks to Brewer. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. A different look for Denver. Kufis checked in for Mozgov. And Jordan Hamilton subbed in for Corey Brewer.
I don't know, Clark. This looks over now.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is all but over.
Lawson outside. Feeds to Chandler. The three is launched. Missed. So it's the Nuggets winning this one easy.
Your Spurs.